Money Monday is starting soon. Money Monday is starting soon. Money Monday is starting soon. I'm starting Money Monday soon. Money Monday is starting 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 soon. Money Monday, Money Monday, yeah. Money Monday is starting as soon as I share it. Money Monday is starting as soon as I share it. Money Monday is starting as soon as I share it. Share now, public. I think I shared it. Share it to your profile. Perfect. Fantastic. All right. Money Monday starting soon, literally seconds from now. All right. Hi everyone, I'm Henry. I'm your friend in finance. Thank you so much for joining me today for another Money Monday. Today I am very excited to be talking about what is the difference between an IRA and a Roth IRA. Those are two words that a lot of times people see them and they obviously very similar because they even have the same letters in there. So what are they? What's the difference between them? How can you use them to be able to hit your goals the fastest and the best? We've already started, so let me just erase that. Now, before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping. We do have a webinar coming this month, at the end of the month, May 27th. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. I dropped a link in the description. It's going to be on money and marriage. How does money affect relationships? My boss, Bob, is going to be leading it. He's had literal decades of experience as a coach, marriage counselor, even as a pastor. He was helping get married couples. So he's going to put his expertise at our disposal. He's going to be showing us exactly how we can, how money can affect marriages. It's still, I think I looked it up. It's still the number 2 reason for divorce. So how do you keep that from happening? Why is it the number 2 reason for divorce? So come join us. A lot of really great information, especially for being able to get closer with the people who you care about. Being able to hold those difficult conversations in a way that empowers the relationship as opposed to causes that stress. That's going to be, again, money and marriage in May, Money Marriage in May. That's alliteration for you. May 27th at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Also, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter, because if you sign up for our newsletter, you'll also get to be able to sign up for these things. Stay up to date on everything we're offering. We offer a lot of free stuff, a lot of free educational content out there. I also dropped a link for that in the description. So go ahead and sign up for that. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about IRAs versus Roth IRAs. What are the differences? How can you use each of them? If along the way I'm talking and you have a question, feel free to drop it in the comment box. I'm able to see the comments right over there on my computer screen, and I'll try my best to answer it as soon as possible, barring any delays from Facebook. And lastly, this is, as always, this is one of the goals of Plan and Act is financial education. So if you find this information helpful, if you think others are going to find this information helpful, please give our Facebook page a like, share the video. I think financial education is one of the best things that you can learn because it affects every aspect of our lives. And how can that stop being a stressful thing, and how can it become empowering for you? So hit the like button, hit the share button. If you're watching us on YouTube, which we do have that, hit the subscribe button. We're here for you. We want to make sure that everybody's learning as much as possible about financial education. So let's dive into it. IRAs versus Roth IRAs. Make a little bit more space here on the board for myself. So first we're going to start out with the IRAs. IRA. I've heard accountants calling it IRA as well, which reminds me of if you ever saw When Harry Met Sally, Sally's ex-wife gets married to a man named Ira. But an IRA, an individual retirement account, it's designed for retirement. Think of it, these accounts, the government, Social Security is not doing great. The government wants to incentivize people to save for retirement so people can take care of themselves in retirement, right? So with an IRA, you put money, the money you contribute to it ends up being pre-tax or it's tax deductible. So for people under 50 this year, there's a $6,000 limit. 6K. There's a $6,000 limit. So if you put per person, so also this is if you're married, you can each put $6,000 in your IRA. So those $6,000 that you put into the IRA, let's say this is a single person, right there, yay. Hands are up in the air celebrating because they have maxed out their IRA contributions at $6,000. Boop, arrow, $6,000 into their IRA. Let's say their income for the whole year was, I don't know, 40,000. Because they put in $6,000 into the IRA, those $6,000 end up being subtracted from his earnings. So this person right here is only paying taxes on $34,000. Give you a little bit of an example of what can that mean for you in terms of taxes. In terms of taxes, let's say hypothetically this isn't correct. Tax brackets change all the time, so but let's say this person was in the 20% tax bracket. I'm coming up with these numbers on the fly, so you're going to get to see me do math on the fly. So there's a little bit of pressure for me to get this correct. But let's say, so yeah, 20% tax bracket. If he didn't put that money into an IRA, that would be 6,000 times 20%. This is like the least helpful way to write down a percentage of something. 20% would be $1,200. $1,200 he would have had to pay in taxes. By putting that $6,000 into the IRA, instead he gets to keep that $1,200 for now. And I say for now because this is how we're getting to how the other part of the IRA. IRA, you pay taxes. Pay taxes. I don't know why that's capitalized and that's not. Pay taxes when you withdraw. When you withdraw the money. So, putting in the money pre-tax, don't pay taxes on it now. The great thing about the IRA is now that $6,000, you can invest it in an IRA. You can buy mutual funds, things like that, index funds that we've talked about before. You can buy those in the IRA. So that $6,000 ends up growing over time if you're in a successful investment in a compound way. So it's compound growth right there. What makes this special is if he had not put this, if I need to come up with the name of somebody that I don't know. Oh shoot, I know a lot of people. Abraham. If Abraham here hadn't put the money into a 401k and instead put it into like a brokerage, still doing the same strategy, still buying stock, he would have put in $1,200 less. So he would have started out, instead of starting out with $6,000 and investing that, he would have started out at $4,800 and invested that. Now, which do you think is going to grow faster? The $6,000 or $4,800, which is less? If you're sitting there thinking more sounds like it would become more, you are absolutely correct. $6,000 ends up growing a lot faster thanks to compound growth. Because first, the $4,800 has to earn that $1,200 just to catch up. Meanwhile, that $6,000 is already compound growing it and just growing and growing and growing. So that's the benefit of the IRA. What ends up happening is, like I said, he ends up paying taxes when he withdraws the money. So the money has grown and grown and grown. I'm going to draw that same chart here. Grown and grown and grown and grown. Now Abraham enters retirement, and he starts ending up needing to take some money out for income, because he has expenses and things like that. He only pays when he withdraws the money. So basically, he has control over how much he withdraws as well. There's a minimum that at a certain point people have to start taking out, but if he doesn't want to be taxed on, take out 50% all at once, he doesn't have to do that. So he's going to be taking out a little chipping away here on that money that has already done this massive growth over time. It's been growing and growing and growing, and only when he withdraws does he get that money. Does he get taxed on that money? So the way that we talk about it is it's triple compound growth, triple tax deferred compound growth. Why? Because the money in the IRA grows tax-free. So that $6,000, let's say it grew to $12,000 over a few years. Normally, in a brokerage account, you'd have to pay taxes on that growth. You'd have to pay capital gains taxes on that growth. In an IRA, you don't have to worry about that because you're only paying regular taxes on how much you withdraw. So that's one way you're ending up saving money on taxes. On top of the, like I said, 20% tax rate, so he's saving $1,200 per year in taxes. Those $1,200 are also growing. I don't know why the arrow is pointing upwards. That $1,200 is also growing. So, let's say 6K doubled. So, boom, $2,400. The amount that he saved in taxes grew to $2,400 in this hypothetical span of time as well. And that's not something that could have even been possible in a regular account. So not only is he getting tax savings, tax deferred, he's also getting tax savings on the capital gains growth, and he's getting tax savings on the capital gains growth of the original tax savings that he got. So that's three ways. So the third way, the $1,200 per year that he's saving. So that's different ways that he's saving. Abraham is saving on taxes as this is growing. All these different ways are ways that if you just put it in a regular bank account, that would be taxed. So that is the power of an IRA. Now, what, you might be asking, is a Roth IRA? Well, let's put this up here. IRA, Roth IRA. The big difference between an IRA and a Roth IRA is a Roth IRA, you pay taxes when you contribute. So it's also extremely powerful. Roth IRAs are newer than IRAs. I can't remember exactly what year, but I think it was like the 90s that Roth IRAs were kind of brought about and started being used. With a Roth IRA, you pay taxes now on that money, and you can put the money into a Roth IRA, and then when you withdraw the money, it comes out tax-free. Now, you might be saying that sounds a whole lot better, and it is extremely powerful, and it is there's a reason why the IRS puts limits on both Roth IRAs and IRAs. It's because they're so good that they don't want people to just exploit the system by using them too much. So Roth IRA, you pay taxes when you contribute, but then you don't have to worry about taxes when you're taking the money out. Something else with the Roth IRA is any money you contributed. Let's say this is going to be a graph of the money you contributed. Let's say you put in this much into the Roth IRA, and then this much is how much is the growth in the IRA. That's the gains that you have. You're allowed to take, if in a Roth IRA, you're allowed to take your contributions out penalty-free, tax-free. So you'll be able to still have use of that, but you pay a penalty on the taking out the earnings. So people like it because it might be good if you're looking at having some good growth, but you also need some immediate liquidity, some immediate cash for some reason, buying a house, things like that. if you break down the math, the IRA ends up being a little bit better than the Roth IRA over the long haul, because like I said, with a Roth IRA, you're still paying taxes on those first. You still got to pay those first $1,200. Ooh, that looks like a six. Still got to pay those first $1,200 in taxes. So you're not going to get the benefit of those $1,200 growing over time. In an IRA, those $1,200 continue growing over time. So that's one of the things that's one of the reasons why IRAs are better. The other thing too is that a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually, when you start reaching retirement age, you can convert an IRA into a Roth IRA. It's called a Roth conversion. So it becomes a Roth IRA. So and it's a little bit of a complex strategy to do. You got to really plan ahead for this. But basically, you put the money into the IRA tax-free. You're taxed on a portion of it as you do the Roth conversion, and then you get that money on the other side tax-free, having paid fewer taxes than you otherwise would have, which is pretty amazing. It does require planning to do that, though. It's not the kind of thing where you can just go one day, oh, I want to do this, because you might accidentally throw yourself into a much higher tax bracket than you really mean to. So this is definitely a really good reason to have a financial planner. Is if you're interested in doing something like a Roth conversion, financial planners are amazing at helping with things like that. But because of the possibility of doing these Roth conversions, what I usually recommend, and this isn't for everybody, but usually IRAs get more priority than Roth IRAs. IRAs get more priority over Roth IRAs because at the end of when you're entering retirement, you can just do Roth conversions and get the money tax-free at that point. But meanwhile, in order to be able to do that, you have to fund your IRA now. So IRAs and Roth IRAs, both great ways to protect yourself from tax now or later. If an IRA helps protect money now, so then that money can continue to grow for you over time. Whereas the Roth IRA, you pay taxes when you're contributing. It's not pre-tax dollars. You're paying full taxes on those dollars. But then when you take the money out, at that point, it becomes tax-free. So yeah, that's the big difference. Those are the big differences between IRAs and Roth IRAs. One other thing I will note that before I forget is that both of these, I mentioned it with the Roth IRA, there's penalties for removing the money too soon. If you take money out of an IRA before you are 59 and a half, then you have to pay a 10% penalty. Then you have to pay a 10% penalty on top of taxes on that money. For a Roth IRA, if you take money out before 59 and a half, if you take out your earnings before 59 and a half, you also have to pay that 10% penalty. So again, these are extremely powerful tools. It's best if they're used correctly as part of an overall financial plan, because they can provide liquidity if you need it, for cash if you need it, for emergencies. They can provide incredible growth for capital gains, for basically your investments to grow tax-free, and you can even do Roth conversions and when you're entering retirement if you've planned ahead. Incredibly powerful tools. When used as part of a comprehensive financial plan. Highly recommend looking into them for your own use, because the more money you keep from having to pay taxes, the more money that you keep. The fewer taxes you pay, the more money you keep, the more money you can use for your own desires. So Roth IRAs, incredibly powerful. And one more time, IRAs, you pay money when you pay the taxes when you withdraw. Roth IRAs, you pay the taxes when you contribute. So, I hope that this helped clarify what the difference is between them. Again, my name is Henry. I am your friend in finance. Don't forget to sign up for our webinar on May 27th at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. And of course, sign up for our newsletter because we have a lot of stuff that we like to show people. Thank you guys so much. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And if you let me know if this time works better for Money Mondays, if you're watching, because this is obviously a little bit later than we normally do it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Have a good one. Bye.